Papua New Guinea has a lot of islands. One of those islands is called New Ireland. People say it is shaped like a musket. Nearly 120,000 people live there, which means that it has 1/60th of the population of Old Ireland. The island could fit into Old Ireland 11 times and still have some room to spare. Now, why would an island that's almost on the opposite side of the world from Old Ireland be called New Ireland? If you guessed it was the British, you would be correct. It got its name from British explorer Philip Carteret, who called the island Nova Hibernia in 1767, which means New Ireland in Latin. If you guessed that the British immediately did the thing the British are very good at and colonized the island, you would actually be wrong. They just left the island alone. Fast forward a century. The French Marquis de Ray started advertising a place called New France, which included New Ireland, a place he declared himself to be the king of. He scammed hundreds of people, the majority of them Italian peasants, into coming to New Ireland in 1880. They had been led to believe that there was already a developed settlement there, but there wasn't. Many of them died. In 1884, German New Guinea was established, and the island was named New Mecklenburg. German rule only lasted for 30 years before the Australians took over at the beginning of World War I. Then the Japanese took New Ireland in 1942, but after they surrendered, it was returned to Australia. Then in 1975, Papua New Guinea became independent, and New Ireland has been part of Papua New Guinea ever since. The Germans, Australians, and Japanese are gone now, but the original inhabitants remain. New Ireland is inhabited by many different ethnic groups. The people of New Ireland speak a variety of different languages in the Austronesian family. This means that their languages are related to Hawaiian, Indonesian, Tagalog, Malgache, and the Taiwanese Aboriginal languages. The one exception is the small number of people who speak Kuot, which is not known to be related to any other language on the planet. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the Lelit people, who speak a language called Mandak. I apologize to any Mandak speakers for the mispronunciations that will soon follow. Who are the Lelit people? They are the people who live in the Lelit Plateau, in the central part of New Ireland. During the colonial era, they were pressured to move out of the plateau into the coast. But, unlike their neighbors, they refused. I have no idea how many Lelit people there are today, but 30 years ago their population was about 500. They raise pigs and grow taro. Now, on to the part about death. Lots of people have died in New Ireland, considering how human habitation of the island goes back thousands of years. A huge percentage of the Italian peasants, scammed by the Marquis de Ray, died on the island. There was also some fighting in World War II. But the rest of this video is about how the Lelit people view death and what they do after people in their community die. One thing you need to understand is that not all Lelit people subscribe to their traditional belief system. Christianity is the dominant religion now. However, a lot of people mix Christianity with the traditional beliefs. So the traditional beliefs still affect people's behavior in the Lelit Plateau. The Lelit believe that the body is inhabited by a life force force called a Lorwang. This life force is not permanently attached to a body. It can leave the body if someone is asleep or if they faint. If the Lorwang leaves a body for an extended period of time, the result is death. When someone dies, they can become a Lorwang, or they can become a Lao, a mischievous spirit. You don't want to become a Lao. You might guess that becoming a Lorwang or a Lao is based on if you are a good person, but it's actually based on the circumstances of one's death. Death from old age will make you a Lorwang. Death from homicide, accidents, evil spirits, or sorcery will make you a Lao. Lorwang are usually good, though they sometimes make children and their family sick or wake them up at night. But you can avoid this by passing children over their coffin. One European claimed to have snuck up on a Lorwang and stolen a bag of money from it. Maybe Lorwang are directly related to the leprechauns and have pots of gold at the end of rainbows. Lao smell like blood and can take the form of a flying fox. They assault people. They cause sickness. They can make lightning strike. And they can cause car engines to stop working. They can also appear to people in dreams and teach them magical knowledge. Sorcery is recognized as a possible cause of death. Sorcerers are motivated by greed and envy. They tend to target richer people. One person said that if someone is successful enough to own 2 or 3 cars, they would almost inevitably be killed by a sorcerer. Sorcerers have different spells for if they want to kill someone slowly or quickly. Another cause of death is shape-shifting spirits. The Larada can take the form of a snake, sometimes a 2-headed viper, and kill someone for breaking social customs. It's also possible for a human to kill a Larada. The Lagas are more evil than the Larada and can mimic a human in order to kill people. They can also take the form of a flying fox or a rat. What does your family do after you die? They go around the nearby villages wailing to notify others that you've died. Then you get a series of feasts in your honor. Traditionally, there were 7 feasts. I'm not going to go into detail for each of them because most of them are pretty similar and you can look at the picture on the screen for reference. The first feast, the Longkorop, happens within 1 to 3 weeks after you die. The Lokpanga happens several years after death. The feasts increase in scale. At a Longkorop, maybe 1 pig is slaughtered, and at a Lokpanga, sometimes over 100 pigs are slaughtered. The third feast, the Laksabis, is worth noting. At this feast, your valuables will be distributed to your family members. You can also opt to have this feast done while you're still alive. However, if you did this, you would get killed at the end of the feast. The Lokpanga, the 7th feast, is a 3-day feast. Sometimes you can share a Lokpanga with another dead person. On this day, there are ceremonial dances and people sing songs and give speeches. People symbolically forget you on this day by severing their relationships with you and forging new relationships with the living. This is called finishing the head of the deceased. Things have changed a little bit in modern times. Nowadays, people often have Christian funerals in addition to the mortuary feasts. And you don't get killed if you choose to have the Laksabis while you're still alive. They also added an eighth feast called the Lisimen. It's basically a second Lokpanga, and it's for when you get your tombstone. If anyone watching this video is from New Ireland, please feel free to correct anything I got wrong. I've never been there. I'm working with information from an anthropologist who visited the Lelit Plateau in the early 90s. There just aren't that many people writing about this area. Anyway, most of this was information I learned for a project for my anthropology class. I have no idea if anyone else will find this interesting. If this video is successful, I might make more videos about Papua New Guinea. If not, then I don't plan on doing